Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. Mm, yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah, love will reign. Yeah, in my heart I believe it. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have a vision, it's clear and plain. People live and laugh, smiling again. Oh, see the children, they know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But remember that love, yes it will. I know, yeah, love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe sun will shine again. And love, I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace, happiness and joy. One day, someday, hate will be over and love will reign. They won't last, for I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But in the end, love will reign. Love will reign. Said in His word, weeping may endure the night, but love will conquer all. Love will win the fight. So don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. The darkest hour just before the light. Hate will be crushed, fear will be gone, love will remain and go on and on. Though the road seems rough, my friend, we know how the journey ends. Oh, yeah. La, da, da, da. La, da, da. La, da, da. Oh, oh. La, da, da, da.
Love will reign. I'm so excited to be here With you, I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist. I am advocating for better love for you and me. And so, whether you're watching us live on the Love and Stuff community page on Facebook or the Marcus R. Holmes page or any of the love groups we're attached to, whether you're watching us on TikTok live, on Instagram live, on YouTube events, or on Twitch TV, take a moment and click share. Tag someone to join us tonight, a subscriber, a friend, a connection, a follower. Tag 5 of them to join us in tonight's discussion. And if you have ever experienced a loss, um, a deficit, it could be a loved one, it could be a job, it could be a marriage. If you've ever experienced a loss, I want you to just drop in the comments me, because we're in an interesting time, right? We're in the holiday season, and sometimes for some of us, for some people, the holidays are sometimes filled with difficult moments because the people who were at the table are no longer there. The people who had a gift under the tree with their name on it now sits on the balcony of heaven looking down. Some that we want to be under the Yuletide or under the mistletoe, rather. Some that we want to be singing carols with, or some that we want to be having eggnog with, right? They are not in the earth school. And it can be heart wrenching, heartbreaking. And I wanted to take a few moments today to help us settle ourselves, those of you that are walking like me without those that you've loved, some of them that you've loved most, and they are on the other side, that you're hoping to pull the covers over your eyes and just make it to the new year. Well, that is one way, and you could choose that. But I want you to think of a different way that might help you to navigate what might be difficult times for you. If this resonates with you, I want you to click share. And I hope that you won't have to grab the tissues. I'm trying not to grab the tissues myself, but I hope that you'll click share and tag someone who you know is going through another holiday, or especially a first holiday without their special loved ones. You know, I have some dear friends, a lot of my friends and close associates are without their moms, and two of them recently had to say goodbye to their mom, and it is a tough journey. I would never invite anyone to be a part of the motherless club. Now, you still have a mother, but you have less of her. You have less of her presence, less of her words that you can remember hearing or get to hear over and over again, less of her hugs, less of her scolding if she ever scolded you, less of her lessons if she ever taught you. You have less of your mother. And I'd never invite anybody to the motherless club. I wouldn't invite anybody to the fatherless club or the sisterless club or brotherless club or childless club, right? But the reality is that many of us are card carrying members, right? Maybe not proud members, but we're carrying members, and we are walking through these journeys. I understand it personally. And as I talk about it in my book, The Gratefulness Journey Every Day, my mom, Princess Irene Holmes, was the love of my life. I could drive her crazy, I think, and she could drive me crazy too. But she was the love of my life. She was what I thought every woman should be. She was sweet, pretty, kind, affectionate, great cook, funny, forgiving, gracious, poised, powerful. And anybody that didn't measure up to that, in my estimation, wasn't fulfilling their call to be a lady or woman. You know, there might be a brother out there who understands that oftentimes we measure women up to our mother, right? And she was just all of those things. I can remember And I modeled this even today. Whenever my mother would come in the house, or if I were already in the house, or if she were already in the house and I would come in, she would light up with the biggest smile and open her arms wide. And she did that uh, with generally everybody. My sister Vanessa, I think, was the second person who grabbed that. They have this way of graciousness that every person that you cross deserves, every person that you interacts with deserves this bountiful greeting of love. That's who she was. And I am the youngest of 5. And I won't say that my parents spoiled me, because I don't really believe that. Now, my siblings would say that, but my parents would say that my siblings spoiled me because they were so much older than me, most of them, not all of them. And even the ones closer in age, they kind of gave me everything I wanted and then beat me up about it, right? But my mother was a person who brought great delight. It brought her great delight and joy to see you happy, to see you joyous. She was the kind of person that prepared all of the meal. And I mean, she would cook. I mean, I'm thinking of her dressing now. I'm trying to recreate the dressing. I still ain't got it right. I'm trying to recreate the macaroni and cheese, trying to recreate how she used to boil the ham before we did honey baked ham, because honey baked ham in our town used to be on Livernois and Finkel. If any Detroiters are here, you know what I'm talking about. On Finkel, just east of Livernois. And at a point when I was born and up till I was 1, we lived on Dexter and Finkel, right in that first block. And so she could, in walking distance, get honey baked ham. But before that, or at points throughout, she would go buy a ham and boil that ham in what? Ginger ale. And she'd make her own little crust to it. And everything, she'd lay it out. And sometimes she would stand next to her chair. She had the chair that was the furthest east on the table. And it was 5 siblings, my parents, and then my sister and brother, as they started to have children, those children, my nieces and nephew, would be around the table, and she would stand by her seat and watch us eat. My dad did that too, but my mom really did that, and she got immense joy out of us enjoying the food. She got immense joy when we were happy about a report card. Not when she was happy, because she was normally really happy only at all A's. She was tough with that. She said, "Oh, this is good. You got a couple B's." But she would be happy when she loved being in our joy. And it's one of the things that I miss most about her, because I could have the smallest good news and she'd make the biggest thing about it. The smallest achievement, and she was the biggest cheerleader. And it made all the difference in the world to me. Now, as many boys do, you grow up and become a man and you start to smell yourself and think you know everything. And so my mom had tons of sayings that she would say to us, her and my dad. They were just the king and queen of quips and sayings. And I can remember thinking that I knew everything about everything. I remember a time where I didn't want to go to Michigan State. Shout out to MSU. I didn't think I had a choice, really, to be honest. All of my siblings were smart, some of them brilliant. And I had the fortune, or maybe not good fortune, of going to some of the same schools. And they said, "Oh, you're Stefan's little brother, you're Adrian's little brother, you're Herbert's little brother. Oh, I bet you're really good in math." I got this comparison to them. "Oh, I hope that you're as good as English. I hope you love science. Or you're not as good in math. Or because they had come before me. So it was never a conversation with my dad or my mom that I was going to college. It was, where are you going to college? You could choose to go to Princeton. Of course, we didn't have Princeton money. You could choose to go to Michigan State. You could choose to go to U of M. You could choose to go to Purdue. All of these were options, my dad told me. And my mom said, well, but it's your choice. You know, my dad always had an opinion about where he thought I should, what he thought I should do. And I thought I'm grown, right? Growing. But my mom said, it's your choice. I'm going to be proud of you wherever you go. And I said, well, what if I don't want to go? That didn't land too well with my dad. I paid all these taxes for you to go to school, because that was always what he said. If ever I got in trouble, and my getting in trouble in school was my mouth, imagine that, I would tell the teacher, I don't think that you taught us well enough. My daddy paid all these taxes. I get in trouble. And my dad would say, you think you can go to school and cut up? Because where you cut up is where you're going to get it. I pay all these taxes for you to go to school. That was what I heard my entire life. I thought, how much taxes did you really pay for me to go to school? But when I decided I wanted to sing, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to sing gospel or R&B. But I said to my mom, what if I don't want to go to school? She said, well, I think you should go to school because you can always sing. And my dad said, what are you going to do when they stop clapping for you? And I said, I keep singing. And he said, uh-huh. And my mom said, well, whatever you decide to do, we're going to support you in whatever you decide to do. She was that constant, I'm almost going to say eternal cheerleader that I know I needed. And I bet you had a mom, a dad, a mom, tia, an uncle, and aunt, somebody who cheered that way for you. Everybody should have a Princess Irene Holmes. She made you feel like you could do anything. And when people offer that compliment to me as a coach, as a leader, as a friend, when they say, you make people think they can do anything. No, they can't, but you make them think that they can. That's the highest honor to me because it's what my mother did. She made all of us think that there is nobody better than you, nobody smarter than you. God knows nobody more handsome than you, nobody more genius than you, nobody cleaner than you, nobody better dressed than you. You are the very best that God has to offer. And she made you feel that way. They made you feel that way, and you carried yourself in that way because of that. And I'm fast forwarding some because I was the baby. So I had left, caught myself moving out pretty young, came back, moved out, came back. And when I was moving out for the final time, and my mom said, well, you got to stand on your own 2 feet to make sure that they work. It's one of her little sayings. And it was my dad that didn't want me to move. Now, my dad was a tough Army guy. He could be tough, but his soul was sweet. He was a kind soul, but a tough man who experienced some harsh realities in life. And I thought my mom would be the one to say, you don't have to leave. I always go into voice when I'm mimicking her because she had a very high-pitched voice oftentimes when she was talking. But it was my dad that was saying, did somebody do something to you while you're leaving? And I said, no, I just think it's time for me to leave. And he said, okay, well, where are you going? And he came to see and said, you gonna cut the grass? Or you gonna pay somebody to cut the grass? I said, no, sir, I'm gonna pay somebody to cut the grass. I'm not gonna cut the grass. And my mother called me and said, I'm just so proud of you. And whatever happens, you can always come home. I was good and grown then. And I thought, well, Mom, I wouldn't have to come home. I wouldn't do that. I'm good. She said, but you need to know that this is always your home. And that meant the world to me, going out into the world, being the baby and having been catered to quite a bit, being allowed to go out there and make your own mistakes and make your own way, knowing that you had that safe place. That was my mother, always that safe place. I could always come to my mother. I could always talk to my mother. I didn't always want to hear what she had to say, but I wanted to hear what she had to say. I didn't want her to know I wanted to hear what she had to say. I don't know if that resonates with anybody. So moved on, and it got to a place where she would call me and say, I haven't seen you. And I thought it was the cutest thing because I'm like, well, Mom, I'm going to get by there. You said that last week and you did not come by. I said, yes, I did. I came by for some potato salad. Well, I wasn't here, so that doesn't count. And I would come, and she normally cooked a full dinner for Sunday. Sometimes even, we'd have different schedules and in shifts, but she loved to cook, and she loved to cook for her family. And her in-laws, the same. They would come, and I had an uncle, rest his soul, that would come for Reen's dressing. And I don't know if it made my dad more jealous or my aunt, his wife, Mary, bless her memory, more jealous, because they say, why are you coming over here for her dressing? We ain't got no more. That's what my dad would say. But she would always have something sweet or something that I liked. Sometimes she would make spaghetti and make just my own sauce because I didn't really care for meat sauce. And my dad said, so you Italian now? Don't cook that boy something. He's spoiled already. Make him eat everything that everybody else eats. And she'd skim some off the top of her homemade sauce and put it aside for me and mix my noodles in and just say, and I'd have my own. And my sister Adrian would tease me, oh, you get your own. But she would do those things for me. And whenever I would come, she would always remember all of my favorite things. One of them would be there a sweet or spaghetti or something. And she'd say, well, maybe you'll come again. And we'd laugh. And times progressed. And as she began to age and began to be aware that she was a diabetic, which is prevalent on her side of the family. Her mother also had diabetes. My mother became vigilant about her health, vigilant about her diet, and vigilant about everybody else's. And always through that time was caregiving for us in the way that she cooked. I thought with Autumn that we might do a recipe book as our next gratefulness journey. I got a gratefulness journey book about my friends that I'm working on, but we also have a gratefulness journey book around recipes because I want to share some of them with the world because I know my mother cooked with love and stuff. The stuff is she didn't measure stuff. A little bit more of that. A little more. Okay, start at it and then put a little bit more. Well, how much more? A little bit more. I'll tell you when to stop. She didn't get a measuring cup or measuring spoon. She just tasted it and went, okay, a little bit more. No, that looks like I'm looking for a consistency. I'm looking for a color. Okay, that's where we are. All right, there you be was one of her sayings that my dad would laugh and say after her. There you be means you have arrived to the point where you can do something. You've arrived to the place where you can make a difference. You're cooking now. And she said, there you be. And many times my Uncle Bubba, my Uncle Herman, bless his memory, and his wife, my Aunt Ruby, my dad's sister, several of the couples would come over. And of course, the kids weren't supposed to be in there, but I love my Uncle Bubba. He loved me. And so sometimes I go sit on his lap and say, okay, which card I'm going to play? And I first didn't understand I was supposed to point to it. I might say the ace. He'd be like, no, you're not supposed to say it. They'll be around the table, and when they're getting ready to run a Boston or when they're getting ready to win the hand, they say, there you be, and they laugh because that's one of the things that she would say. She would say it also when you got just the right amount of salt in that dressing. If you put the salt in with your vegetables that you're going to saute, your onions and bell peppers or whatever you're going to saute, and put your marjoram in there. And she tasted, there you be. Oh, it needs a little bit more of this, a little of that. Then she say, there you be. There you be. And she began to be so vigilant about her health. She was a neat and clean woman. Her and my dad both. My dad says, don't go out of here with the Holmes name and you're not clean. Wash your, put that word in there. Comb your hair. If you don't comb it, I'm going to cut it off. Brush your teeth. Iron your clothes. And even if they not from Hudson's, if they from Montgomery Wards, them some good clothes, but you got to take care of them. My mother was very neat. And she had her own style, her own way, her own swag, her own all. And she wanted all of her children to be neat. She was that one that checked all your faces and she did this to you. I don't know if you had a mom that did that. She wanted to make sure that you put your best foot forward. That was who she always was. And as she began to age, she began to have health challenges. And one of her favorite things to do was to dress up for Mother's Day. I'm going to call him a fair weather friend. He's probably going to see this and say, forget you then. I have a friend, Pastor Rick Cranford, used to be a pretty good friend. He almost exclusively made all of my mother's hats. I still have many of her hats that I haven't given away, and I want to talk a little bit about that in a moment. He made these hats, and my mother's favorite holiday was Mother's Day. She loved nothing more than being a mother. That was the thing that if you talk to her, invariably she was going to talk about Jesus and she was going to talk about her children. She loved, and her grandchildren, spoiled they are. She loved being a mother. So Mother's Day was a big production for her. She was a church lady, and she would, of course, they used to sell flowers and bouquets and boutonnieres for Mother's Day. The red flower, if your mother is living, the white flower, if your mother is deceased, the pink flower, if your grandmother was your mother. They had all of these color-coded options. And we'd be right there with her selling the flowers at the door, catching people as they're coming into church. And raising money at that time for the church, for the benevolent fund and building funds and foreign mission, all those things my mom did. And she knew that she was getting a hat, but she didn't know what color it was. She didn't know what the suit was. She had no idea what she was wearing. She didn't know what shoe, what stockings, nothing. From head to toe, we would have her outfit. And many other times, but especially on Mother's Day. So she was like, it was Christmas to her, right? Because she was like, I don't even know what color did you give me? I have to have a flower. I need some gloves. I need a purse to match it. Mama, ma. That's what we used to say when she went, ma. And we come in that morning before it was time for her to go to Sunday school, because she believed in going to Sunday school early morning if she was selling flowers. And we come in with, the jewelry suits, they call them, or a really nice suit, depending on the weather. And she said, I know it's a hat here. Where's the hat? And I tease and say, oh, we thought the suit was enough. She's like, I know I got a hat. And I bring the hat box, or I have Ricky wait right until that time to bring it to the door. And she'd open it. And I mean, it was amazing to see that smile on her face. I would do anything to put that smile on her face. Just as she had done for me with baking peanut butter cookies or sugar cookies or making my own spaghetti. She had literally handed down to me a treasure trove of faith and joy that you are called to serve and bring joy to others. And she would take the hat. Okay, how am I going to wear it? I'm going to tip it a little to the side. Okay, do I need a hat pin? Okay, I'm gonna wear this hair with it because it's going to hang down. She always made a big production of it. And she'd go in the church and say, oh, Mother Holmes, that's a hat. And she loved that. And as many of us that could, we would be there with her on Mother's Day, because we landed at different churches at different times. And she was the proudest mother. I don't I don't think I've ever experienced that kind of pride watching anybody else. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure your mother was the same way, but she was so filled with pride of being a mother. She was the mother that at parent teachers conference would be beaming at the reports until they said citizenship, and they said, now Marcus is smart, but he sure talks. He gets bored. He does other people's work. He's helping them with their answers. But outside of that, she's beaming with pride. She's talking to her siblings and to her in-laws. Look what he won the spelling bee. He was the highest scorer MEP in the state. He did this. He did. Oh, Stephen did this. Oh, Herbert did this. We call him Keith or Keeby. Oh, Adrian did this. Oh, Vanessa did this. She was the proudest mother ever, and it made you feel like you had a treasure trove of legacy and you carried that forward. It meant something to have the Holmes name and to be connected to her. And I know many of you have that same thought and feeling. She also did that for other children, other people's children, for nieces, nephews. Even my dad's side of the family, I remember they had once an argument. They were oil and water, but this time they had an argument, and it was because she wanted to take in my cousin who was pregnant, and my dad was against it. It was his sister's daughter, and she said, we have to. We can't let her be out in the streets. The streets is no place for a pregnant girl. And she did all that she could to be with that cousin, to help that cousin. And that's just who she was. She was a foster grandparent. She would go after working. Sometimes she would work the midnight shift, and after that, she'd go to where these young teen moms were staying and help them with their babies. And say, no, baby, this is what you should do. No, here's what you should do. And they call her grandma, and some of them call her mom. Like, well, hold on a minute. But I knew that her call of motherhood was greater than just the five of us. She was an amazing mother, which is why it was no second thought for me that as her health declined, that I should come back home and be a caregiver for her. I had watched my brother Stephen, who I think is the best caregiver I think I ever saw, bless his memory. He was super organized and always pushed me to do that. And so if I have this organization bug, I got it from Stephen Clark Holmes. But he was super organized, and he had her schedule of appointments. He had her medicine laid out. He had her physical therapy regimen, all of the things that she needed. He was Johnny on the spot, and then would say, okay, now I want to show you how to do this. I want to train you. And when my sister Adrian took flight, Autumn's beloved mom, my beloved sister, it was not a second thought for me to come back and be a caregiver. Now, I can tell you, I certainly wasn't Stephen. I, being the youngest, was used to being taken care of. And here was a person who spent her life in the nursing profession, who always took care of people and took care of some families also on the side, cared for them. She was always caring for people, always making meals, always helping people in their homes, always helping to rear their children, always, always, always helping. To where I would call her an expert in caregiving. So here I am trying to care for the expert in caregiving, who is very persnickety about care. And I was failing miserably. I could do nothing but cook and even not at her level, of course. But she would eat my food, and she would either make me feel like it was good by eating it all or actually enjoying it. But I didn't make the bed right. I didn't get the water temperature right. I didn't wash the clothes right. I didn't fold them right. I didn't dry them right. I didn't clean right. I wasn't clean. I'm not a good cleaner. I'm clean, but I pay somebody to clean. And she would just, in her own way, okay, let's go back and redo this. Okay, go back and redo this. Okay, do this. And one day I just said, I can't. I just give up. I don't think I can do this. And she says, you're doing a good job. It's just that you can do better. And we both laughed. And that's one of the first things in this last 20 minutes that I want to invite you to do. I want to invite you through those tears, through that pain, through that anguish. I want to invite you to laugh. I want to invite you to unearth, reconnect with those memories that are so funny that you laughed about them for years and years and years. I want you to relive those memories through the power of gratefulness, because grief is a constant reminder that you loved before. So I want you to reconnect to the memories that made you laugh and made you laugh heartily. Have you ever laughed to where your side was aching? Have you ever laughed to where you could hardly breathe or stand up? Have you laughed so hard that you thought you would never stop laughing? I want to invite you to do that. I want to invite you to summons the memories, unlock the memories that will lead you there. Now, if you have trouble unlocking those memories, there could be some depression there, and I would want you to go and seek some professional help. Okay. But one way, when you are triggered or when there's been trauma or when there's been grief and you're steeped in it, one way to get your brain thinking is to ask yourself the question, what did I have for breakfast today? It'll get you out of the fear mode, fight and flight, and it'll get you into the thinking, critical thinking mode. And you're more likely to be able to unlock that place in your memory, in your brain where those memories are housed, so that you can say, I remember the time that this was so funny. So one of the funnies I want to share, and John Vito, I see you there on TikTok. Thank you. So great. So proud of you. Congratulations. One of the memories I had, my mother, a proud woman, a clean woman, did not want her adult son to caregive for her by taking her into the bathroom, assisting her in showering her or bathing her. She did not want that. But we had to do what we had to do. And I remember one of the times after she fussed me out about, I can do it myself. I said, no, you can't do it yourself. Yes, I can. Just close the door. Please, please just leave me alone. Please leave me alone. I get her in the bathroom and we had the shower gown that we called a shower gown. It was kind of this plastic-ish kind of gown. And I got her into the shower and I said, okay, she had trouble with her right arm getting it over her head. So I'm pulling and she's like, just let the water run through there. I said, Princess Irene Holmes, you got to wash it all away. We laughed a little bit, and I'm doing with the shower head, the movable one, and showering her, and she's hurrying up, trying to hurry up, and she's cleaning herself. I'm helping her and gives her the towel. She doesn't want assistance. I'm trying to assist her. So we're almost haggling with the towel. And she starts to slide out of the shower chair. Now, she weighed more than me at that time. And so we both are sliding to the floor. We end up on the floor and we are in hilarious laughter. I mean, we're laughing. And she said, "How are we going to get up?" I said, "Well, one of us could stand up. One of us needs help. So how are we going to do this?" So we laughed and laughed and laughed. And finally, I get her up and get her back on the chair. And she says, "Thank you for helping me." I said, "You're welcome. You're the hardest patient I got." And we laughed. And we must have laughed about that every time we were heading to the shower, heading to the bathroom. Hope we don't end up on the floor today. And we would just go to pieces. Memories like that, when I think about December 15th, 2014, when she took flight, and it reduces me to tears. And sometimes I'm no good for anything. Sometimes the weight of her absence feels unbearable. You know, the scriptures say to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, but that A clause, to be absent from the body, is such a weighty matter to contend with. And sometimes that weight seems unbearable. What has worked for me, and I suggest to you, is to unearth, rediscover, reconnect, recall those memories that brought you sheer laughter. It'll be a medicine to your soul, a medicine to your heart, to tap into the laughter. Okay? I mentioned earlier that my mom had tons of sayings. Some of them were her original, some from other places. And one of them is, when people tell you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't be surprised about what somebody else does, but be surprised if you do something that's out of your character or something that you don't think you would do. That's when you should be surprised, because you should know you. And when you're not acting like you, when you're not being you, then you need to check yourself. Check yourself when you're not being you. Don't be surprised. Anybody could do anything. They could betray you. They could turn on you. They could fall in love with you. They can fall out of love with you. But be surprised if you do something that surprises you. Check yourself. And one other saying that I loved, "You just saying that." Sometimes you might be trying to talk yourself into something or talk yourself out of something. And my mother had a way of saying, "You just saying that," to make you think, put up or shut up. She was an eternal cheerleader that pushed you to do what you said you were going to do or leave it alone. That's the second thing that I want you to consider. When you're feeling blue and sad, alone and isolated, and you don't want to be bothered with anybody ever been there? You just want to get through the day. I try not to just mark the day that she took flight, though it was a tough, long day. It's hard not to think of it when December 15th rolls around. I try to remember the other days, Mother's Day and her birthday and my birthday, which was almost a week apart, because my mother had this habit, this tradition of making each person their own birthday cake from scratch. The cake from scratch, the icing from scratch. And if you were Tammy or Felicia, you probably got a German chocolate cake, because they love German chocolate cake, especially her German chocolate cake. I'm not a coconut fan. I loved her 7 upside down cake, but she wouldn't make that for my birthday because it wasn't a birthday cake. She'd make it the next week though, but she wouldn't make it as a birthday cake for me. I am a lemon cake lover, a yellow batter cake lover. I'll take a chocolate cake, but that's not my love for, right? you could count on Princess Irene baking you your own cake up until till she couldn't bake anymore. And she'd call you and say, "You didn't come over for your cake. I'm going to cut your cake if you don't come over." And she'd sing happy birthday and have everybody sing happy birthday with you if you were 2 or 22 or 42. She believed in celebrating life. And that's why I am so intentional about celebrating birthdays. Because she was so intentional about celebrating the one life you have. Because you might as well love the life you have and live it. Think about your mother, father, brother, sister, cousin who is no longer in the earth school. What are the sayings? What is the wisdom? What are the affirmations that they shared with you? And begin to repeat them. And my pastor, Daryl Redmond, bless him, gave me some great advice at a point that I was really going through it. I mean, my mother lived a good, full life, I believe. She had some health challenges, but I had a challenge with, now, why did you let my mama go? God, why couldn't she just be healed and stay here? She served you her whole life. It hadn't really caught up with me that to get the reward that she'd been living for, she'd have to leave here. She lived her life to live with God in eternity. She lived a Christian life, knowing that the prize meant that she would leave this earth and she would go to be with God. For some reason, the TikTok cut me off. I'm not so sure what happened. We lost our TikTok viewers. Looks like we did. Yep, we lost our TikTok viewers. Not sure. TikTok is finicky. She believed in living, she didn't use the word your best life, but she says you only have one life, you might as well live it well. I want you to think now about those sayings, the wisdom, as I was saying, the affirmations, those things you can remember. And my pastor, Daryl Redmond of the True Rock Church, gave me some great advice. He says, you know, Marcus, you can still talk to her when you're in the shower, when you're driving. And imagine hearing her voice, her words talking back to you. Oh, that was sage advice, because I wanted to be able to hear her voice and hear her say, now you know you're going to be all right. Because when she said that, it did make it all right. And I offer that to you, to think of your beloved loved one. Think of what he or she meant to you, what they meant to you, and begin to recall and rehearse in their voice, hear their voice speaking to you. The last thing, and then I want to share with you an opportunity that I hope that you will consider, is there is an African proverb, and I'm paraphrasing, that a person doesn't really die until the last person who knew them dies. In that same vein, you should begin to tell other people who knew your loved one or didn't about your loved one. It helps to revive and keep alive their memories. Share the stories, just as I am doing with you, of those that you loved. And then Princess, while she's resting, her life continues to speak. Every time I speak her name and someone else speaks her name, John Vito on TikTok says she's smiling down. Princess Irene is smiling down on you. She lives. She continues. Her legacy continues because we keep speaking her name. I invite you to do that with your loved one. Well, it's Christmas time. Many that do celebrate Christmas and the Advent season. Of course, there are people who are celebrating Hanukkah and Kwanzaa pretty soon, and Boxing Day, I think, all of the holidays. But those that celebrate Christmas and believe in the gift giving aspect of Christmas, I had a colleague who last Christmas, December 25th, 2024, passed away after a brief battle with cancer. And he left 11 children behind. His wife, who is a homemaker, was a homemaker, and 11 children. This Christmas, I'm asking you to join the Love and Stuff community, join me in helping to add some Christmas to those young people. And you can do it by our gift boxes. 100% of the proceeds of the gift box will go to the families. And we'll hold this out through the balance of the week through Sunday evening so that we can give them all gift cards, however they want to make purchases. There are 3 gift boxes. There's a $10 gift box, a $20 gift box, and a $50 gift box. So there's no administrative fee. It's all going to help this family have an amazing Christmas. If you find it in your heart, in the spirit of giving, to help those who could use some help, I invite you to consider purchasing a gift box. Again, all of the proceeds. So there's no administrative fee. You pay $10 and it's $8.99. All 10 of your dollars are going toward this effort. It's going to one family with 11 children. I think the oldest might be 22 on down, 11 children. You can do $20 gift box, $10 gift box, $50 gift box. And we'll do this through Sunday, which will be the 21st. So that'll give us a chance to get the monies to them before Christmas if they decide to do some Christmas Day or Eve, a few days before shopping or food or whatever is going to be best for their household. We won't put them on blast or display. We don't do that in the Love and Stuff community, but I did want you to know there are some people closer in the Love and Stuff community that will know specifically who it is, but I just wanted you to know it was a man who loved his wife and 11 children and died relatively young, but lived a great life, was a great person, and has 11 children. And I just think it's on my heart to do all that we can to support them. I'm sorry, I'm checking because it went off. So I'm just going to circulate those again. That's the $20 gift box. There isn't a gift in the box. You're giving them money, okay? We're going to put all of the money on a gift card of their choosing. They may want a Visa gift card. They may want a Best Buy gift card. They may want a Macy's gift card, or they may just want the Visa gift card that they can go to the grocery store with. Whatever, however they want it is what we will do, okay? And it's in the denomination of $10, $20, and $50. What I can tell you about the Love and Stuff community is that we're all about helping others. We're all about increasing the amount of love in the world. I don't know about you. I could have more love in my life, especially if I give it. But I'm always open to receive it as well. There could be more love in your community, in your school, in your university, at your job, in your relationships, if you decide to give it. What different would our communities, neighborhoods, world be if we decided to give more love? This is our outpouring of thanks for the gifts that we've been given that we can share with others. And if that resonates with you, I hope you will scan the QR code at whatever amount feels comfortable. All of these are impactful amounts, but whatever amount feels comfortable to you, that you will join us in that giving. Getting the gift box, which again, they're not getting a gift box. They're going to get the money, the value of the gift box as one collective from the Love and Stuff community and friends, so that they can experience a wonderful Christmas in a time that would be tough for them too. You can imagine 11 children without their dad, a wife who was a homemaker without her husband. You understand having been without your loved ones. And I'm hoping that because you relate to that, that you too will consider helping us give to them. Okay, I'm gonna make sure. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and then just show the gift box again. Thank you, Kamal Williams, over there on Instagram. And we will be right back right after this message about the gratefulness journey every day.
Marcus, I want to congratulate you on Love and Stuff. I really want you to know that staying grateful and understanding the power of what it is to be operating out of a space of abundance and gratitude is the most important part of every journey of every day. So Marcus June, congratulations on this book. It's on Amazon now. That makes me so proud of you and your family and me and my family, and every single person around us gets it. So good on you for bringing it into the hands and the laps and the Kindles of all the people. Okay, so we're gonna check it out. Can't wait to learn more.
I'm so grateful for MJ from Shahs of Sunset, who did that cameo for me about the gratefulness journey every day. And while I'm not bringing it up because I want you to consider giving to our giving effort, I think it was a joy for me to be able to write that book in the pandemic. It's been a joy that people have been able to use it to help with things like temperament and sadness and grief and procrastination. So many ways to transform your life through the power of gratefulness. MJ's husband has used gratefulness and gratitude to transform his temperament. So if you have an uneven temperament, anger issues, gratefulness is a great practice to start to even out your temperament. I want to go to the comments, which I totally had missed. And one of my favorite folks, Roosevelt Hampton, has joined on through. Thank you, sir, for being here. I'm so grateful that you are. And I know you understand being part of the Motherless Club, less of your mother's presence, but she is a present force in you. All of the things that she poured into you and Melissa. And I hope that as you walk through this season, that some of the great memories, those that make you laugh and fill you up with joy, will come forward, and that you'll share those stories with someone else so that your mother continues to live on and live on and live on and live on. And not only Roosevelt, all of you that are watching, I think TikTok got cut off, but those of you that are on Instagram and YouTube and Twitch, you're not alone in this season. You might feel lonely. You might feel like you're all by yourself. You are not the only one walking through grief, reminding you that you loved before. And that's the good part, because that love will never die. That love that you have for that person has for you will never die. You just have to find ways to navigate the space where you feel crowded by darkness, feel overshadowed by death, feel chained by grief. I want you to give yourself permission to use memory and laughter and joy to break free, so that in your own way, you can navigate safely this holiday and have peace and goodwill to all men. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist. I'm not a loveologist. I'm not a guru. I just synthesize love and share it with you. And if that resonates with you, I want you to come back next week, Tuesday, for an encore presentation of It Came Upon a Midnight Clear as we go into the holiday season next Tuesday. And I want to wish you the merriest of Christmas and the merriest of the season of Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and whatever celebrations your faith or belief brings you to. Spend some rich and wonderful time with family, friends, those you love. And remember that we should share love everywhere that we go. See you soon.
Yeah. Yeah.